What you're watching right now is the most life-changing moment I've ever witnessed in One Piece. So I've been watching a lot of One Piece lately. So much so that I've pretty much binged up to Impel Down within the span of 2 months. I know I'm pretty degenerate, but I can't help it. This show is just so special to me. There are just so many moments that you can't help but feel an immense amount of emotion watching the show, to the point where some of those moments have had a lasting impact on my own personal life. For me, when it comes to life-changing moments from One Piece, I have to say that out of every part of the show, it has to be Tom's trial from the Water 7 arc, specifically when Tom punched Franky in the face. But when I first watched this, I didn't really understand what was happening to me in the moment. I felt this huge wave of emotion crash over me. And to be honest, I didn't really understand why at first. So I decided to go back and rewatch the moments leading up to the scene to see why this moment was so life-changing for me. What did I learn from this moment that changed the way I look at life nowadays? To find the answer, I think we need to start from the beginning. We need to understand who Tom and Franky are and what their relationship means to one another. Quick reminder, this video will contain spoilers for Water 7, so just know you've been warned. We first meet Franky as a kid growing up as one of Tom's apprentices. For those that don't know who Tom is, he's a fisherman who's one of the greatest shipwrights to ever do it. He's famous for building Gold D. Rogers' ship, the Oro Jackson, which managed to circumnavigate the entire globe and assist the Pirate King and his crew. Remember that fact because it's going to be important later on in this video. As Franky is growing up with Tom, he tries to build his own ships, all with the goal of trying to take down a Sea King. His first ships don't really amount to much and even cause some trouble for his brother Iceberg, which of course, Iceberg gets mad at him for pretty much wasting his time and telling Franky he needs to actually focus on getting some serious work done. They both get into a fight, which is a frequent occurrence, but Tom manages to stop them from fighting. Most of the time, Tom lets out this hearty laugh and tells Iceberg to ease up on Franky, but he always ends it by telling both Iceberg and Franky, "I don't care what you build, as long as you are resolutely proud of the ship that you built." Now, when I first watched this, I didn't really pay too much attention to that little detail. In my mind, I was like, of course someone should be proud of the work that they did as long as they were successful, right? It didn't really make too much sense to me at that time. However, there's actually more to this story. All of a sudden, a judicial ship from the world government comes to Water 7 to hold Tom's trial for building the Pirate King's ship. The judge plans to sentence Tom to the death penalty. However, it doesn't really pan out how you think it will. You see, Tom is an absolute giga chad and finesses his way out of the sentence by saying he's about to bring back Water 7 from the brink of poverty if they keep him alive. He tells the judge that all he needs is 10 years to complete his dream build, a sea train connecting Water 7 to the rest of the world. The judge allows it, so Tom and the boys get to work. They spend 10 arduous years, all the while enjoying the process of the work, experimenting and failing until they manage to build a working train. Everyone involved celebrates, and Tom at this point feels fulfilled that he was able to accomplish his dream. At this point in the story, this is where I had absolute respect for Tom as a character. He stuck to his guns and actually went to work. He also ended up being successful with the project. Fast forward another 4 years, the judicial ship returns to Water 7 to finish up the trial of Tom with the intentions of pardoning him because of the success of the sea train puffing Tom. Yet, as the saying goes, all good things must come to an end at some point. You see, everything changes when this fucking rat of a human being named Spandam comes to meet Tom. Spandam is trying to build this ancient weapon called Pluton that can practically destroy the world, yada yada yada. Tom happens to have the blueprints to the weapon, but of course we have to remember this guy is an absolute chad, so he practically tells Spandam to fuck off. Spandam starts to whine like the bitch that he is and plots a scheme to use Franky's battleships to make it look like Tom and his company are the bad guys. Spandam then launches an attack with all of Franky's shits on the judicial ship. From there, the whole town goes into a frenzy. Everyone notices that it's Franky's battleships and they start to pin the blame on him. But Franky was in town the entire time, not with the shits. Tom and Iceberg learn about this and try to stop it, with Franky later coming along. Tom, Franky, and Iceberg go and chase down whoever was actually using the ships. They don't find out who it was, unfortunately, but fortunately, they manage to stop the attack. However, they get caught by the entire town, and now the townspeople believe that all 3 of them organized the attack on the Marines. They get arrested, and they begin a new trial. All 3 of them are convicted, but this time Franky is in big trouble and is about to be arrested by the Marines. Feeling the guilt and fear at that moment, Franky says the one thing that he never would have thought he would say. He condemns the creations that he made. this is the point where I witnessed my life-changing moment. Tom, upon hearing Frankie uttering his regrets, breaks free from his handcuffs and punches Frankie square in the face. In shock, Frankie has no idea why Tom would punch him. Tom then utters these words: "The act of building a ship is neither an act of good nor evil. I don't care what kind of ships you choose to build, but even if the ships you built hurt someone, or even if they destroy the world, at least the one who created them must love them. Their creator mustn't deny them. Don't blame the ships. A man should be resolutely proud of the ships he built." To back up his speech, he proclaims to the world that he's proud of building the Oro Jackson and has absolutely no regrets in assisting the Pirate King. Tom asks the judge to pardon Frankie for his crimes instead of him, which leads to Tom being whisked away to Enies lobby where he is to be executed. After seeing what unfolded in front of my eyes, I couldn't help but break out into tears at that moment. Don't get me wrong, there have been many moments throughout my time watching One Piece that I felt extremely emotional, but this one actually broke me. To an extent, I could understand the pain that Frankie was going through, the guilt he felt knowing that his own creation didn't give the results that he wanted, that it ended up being not what he expected at all. It felt all too familiar to me. You see, I have a major flaw as a creator where I judge my own worth based on the results of my work. If my work is good, I would praise myself highly. However, if the work was bad, I would absolutely feel worthless and feel ashamed of myself, that I did something wrong, that I didn't do enough. This mentality would apply to everything in my life, especially through schoolwork, the games that I played, but more importantly, the creative work that I would try to do. Growing up, I was an extreme perfectionist. I would only allow myself to do things if I knew I was going to succeed on the first try. Yet that entire mentality went out the window when Tom told Frankie to be proud of the things he made and further backed it up with his words. Throughout my life, I've had people tell me that I shouldn't really focus on the results of my work and rather the effort I put into it. However, I was raised in an environment where results mattered more than the effort. And hearing them tell me that, I just couldn't believe it. It just didn't make sense to me how someone could improve if they don't focus on their results. But seeing the way Tom treated Frankie and how he was still proud of him for making his ships made me realize that I was being too hard on myself. That I was like Frankie in the future who couldn't forgive himself for the mistakes he made. It was then I realized the amount of pain I've put myself through when it came to my entire life. I realized how unfair and how painful it was to just ignore the efforts that I did and only judge my worth based on the results. But the truth was, my results didn't matter. What actually mattered was the fact that I even started it, that I even put effort to begin with, that I was already worthy enough because I at least tried. After watching the scene and realizing everything in that moment, that's why I started to cry. That's why I felt such a huge emotional impact from watching it. Watching Tom punch Frankie in the face and him telling him all that stuff completely changed the way I thought about doing anything creative. That's why I see this as one of the most life-changing scenes in One Piece for me. In a world where people are constantly expecting results and you are told you need to constantly perform at your best, you feel that your own self-worth is only judged on those things. But what I think Tom was trying to say, what I think Oda was trying to say through this scene is that you must be able to acknowledge the effort you put into the things that you have done. Whether it be studying for a test for hours, working on any creative project, or practicing for a competition, no matter the results, appreciate the work that you've put into the action. In the future, I plan on living by these words and this lesson moving forward. I hope to continue to do what I love, and that is making YouTube videos and hoping to entertain as many people as I can, all the while enjoying the process and the effort that I've put in. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Luck Deep, and remember, stay eccentric out there. Peace.